Hey, how's it going? My name is Coach Grant Chasson, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to be ridiculously, unbelievably consistent as an athlete. So, I'm a certified mental performance coach. Everything I do, I'm writing to the 20-year-old version of myself that was a failed college quarterback who hung it up way too soon. And everything I do is just to build a framework for athletes who are in that position, who are fighting that mental battle in terms of just finding that focus, discipline, confidence, resilience. And everything I do, I write and I create for that athlete myself when I was 20 years old as that quarterback. So this video is derived from my newsletter, which you can check out on Substack. I'll leave a link in the description. So first and foremost, consistency is not just built on somebody who's trying to, establish results, right? Consistency is being able to build a framework and a routine and habits around the standard of which you want to live every single day, no matter how you feel. So honestly, if you can just find a way to mesh the gap of your best performance versus your worst performance, you'll be in a better spot. You'll be much more successful. You'll be able to take control of your game and have that confidence leading up into those big moments, big pressure games. So what's the problem? Well, number one, athletes chase feelings instead of standards, right? What do I feel like doing today? Do I feel like doing my breath work? Do I feel like that extra stretch? Am I scared that if I take a day off and rest, that somebody's going to pass me up? But ultimately, they also build confidence based on the outcomes. As I mentioned, they prepare physically, but not mentally, and they practice skills, but not pressure, and depend on motivation instead of an actual system. So what does that usually result in? Probably one great day, average the next day, and then all of a sudden they don't understand why performance is fluctuating, right? I'm a very, very amateur golfer. So we're going to break this down into 4 steps that can help you establish that consistency needed. So step one, install a pre-performance routine that removes all the guesswork, right? You don't have to rise to the occasion, just fall to the level of your preparation. Every single day is like you're preparing for the Super Bowl. Okay, one of my favorite athletes of all time, Tom Brady, he was famous for this. I mean, it could be the most ordinary Tuesday practice of the season, and all of a sudden he's mimicking 2-minute drills in Super Bowl situations and just making everyone have that mindset of this practice could make or break our season. So have your routines in place, remove all that guesswork, and don't think that you just have to warm up your body and go to work. See the practice, see the situation, see the pressure that's going to unfold today. So your pre-performance routine gives the brain a clear and familiar path to follow under pressure. So what are some good pre-performance routines? Okay, very simple. A mental warm-up, take 3 minutes to do this. Check out 3 to 4 controllable keys, all right? Win my first rep or first step, communicate early, trust my preparation, attack the football, right? I was a football coach, so a lot of the stuff I do and work with a lot of football players, it goes into football mindset, but work on some visualization, right? See the environment. What's practice going to look like? If it's raining today, as a quarterback and offensive coordinator, it drove me nuts when it rained. But I mean, I had to see it and prepare for it because what if it rained on Friday? So I had to be the leader and be the positive one amidst the bad weather. Hear the sounds, feel that competition, visualize a successful execution, right? So when you think of the consistency rule, it's always going to be your same sequence, your same order, same timing, every practice and every game. Nothing changes. Okay. That's why this is step one. You have to build a consistent routine to have consistent performance. Implement a 10-second reset routine. All right. Take a big breath. All right. Have a cue word. Have a physical trigger. I've read before that people would wear rubber bands, and as soon as they would feel that intense nerves or pressure build up, they would pop themselves with the rubber bands gently, and it would just remind them to come back to earth, right? And focus on the next task. Focus on what's at stake right now. All right. So examples could be just saying, hey, next play. Hey, reset, reset. Here we go. Chest tap, adjusting your gloves, clap your hands, reminding yourself to smile because you're doing something that you love and enjoy. So your reset is more important than your actual routine when you really think about it. Okay, I wrote about an athlete who I'd coached before. He just was absolutely the most reliable player on the team. He knew he wanted playing time as a senior, and he proved to us that we needed him in certain situations. And it wasn't just, I want to get playing time. Like, we designed the offense around his ability and what he was capable of doing. So he put his head down. He went to work every day. His consistent performance never failed. He showed up as the same player day in and day out. We trusted him. We believed in him. And I'll never forget, during a major game against a high quality opponent, he had one of the best plays I'd seen. And the ball wasn't even supposed to go to him. We just checked down to him in the flats and he took it down to like the 2 yard line. It was unbelievable. So just be prepared when you're consistent, when you're building that, mentality of handling pressure. You're not going to be phased when the big moment arises. You can step up and make a play for your team. Okay. Coaches, they'll trust reliability, and consistency will earn you an opportunity. Okay. Step 2, confidence you build on evidence and not emotion, right? Confidence is just proof. It's not a feeling or what you're doing. So you might depend on emotions. You might depend on results, on stats and external validation. That was my problem as a quarterback. I was always chasing some kind of validation from my coach or my teammates, and I wasn't putting in the work to get it. So why would I get one of the other? So for me, I needed to change my process, and that would affect my performance. But every night I have my clients and athletes do a win log, no matter what. It's like a confidence bank. It's, every time you're telling yourself you've done something successfully, you've done it the right way, in the back of your brain, you become a little bit more confident because you're starting to believe that you're putting in the work, which you are. Right. So every night you should say, what's one thing you did well? What's one thing that you did improve? One promise you kept to yourself, and just keep focusing on the process over and over. Again, it's simple, but it's not very easy. So when you do this, you've created a proof of preparation. You have some self-trust. You have stable confidence. And when doubt appears, the confidence will come from your evidence, right? Not your emotions. So don't grade yourself on outcomes. Don't ask the wrong questions like, did we win? Did I score? Did coach notice me? You should be saying, better evaluation questions would be, did I execute my process? Did I follow my keys? Did I reset after mistakes? And typical performance keys could be, hey, winning the first rep, communicating every play, resetting after 10 seconds, right? Those are the performance keys that you need to measure to stay consistent, right? That's what we're striving for here. Confidence becomes stable when it's tied to your controllable behaviors, right? So a big part of this is to train your self-talk, to make sure that you are avoiding the negativity, replacing it with positivity, and having specific mantra or sayings or sentences that vibe for what you are trying to accomplish and who you are, that remind you of certain things. Okay, step 3, train your mind to handle chaos before game day, right? So what does this mean? Physical preparation creates physical readiness. Mental preparation creates mental readiness. Both are extremely necessary. So raise your floor, right? So don't say, how good can I be? But how good am I when nothing is going right? Like, what's the minimum performance that I can give my team and give my coaches and prove to myself that I can accomplish, even on a bad day, as some athletes say? So just go back, set some performance goals, make sure that you are always staying consistent, at least to that minimum level. Don't say I had a bad day today and then today's even worse than yesterday. You should always have a consistent, worst possible day. And that way you prove to yourself that you're capable of staying ahead of the game when the time arises to compete. Consistency will always be about raising your floor, not chasing that ceiling. So one thing I like to do is simulate pressure, right? Add a consequence to a bad movement in practice, create a distraction, shorten time limits, train under fatigue, compete regularly, right? Pressure becomes familiar when you practice it over and over again. Okay. Also, with that pressure and adding that discomfort to practice and training, you need to visualize adversity, right? You need to see things beyond just the winning success and highlights. You need to see what's going to happen if you make a mistake, if there's a bad call, if the momentum shifts, if there's adversity. You better rehearse that response over and over again, because that's what it's going to take when adversity comes and pressure rises, that you're going to be able to be the same exact athlete that your teammates and coaches depend on. So see adversity, accept adversity, and practice your response over and over again, right? Trained composure will always beat natural confidence. So one of my favorite stories of all time, I had a quarterback who was just unbelievably consistent. I mean, day in and day out, he showed up and we knew what we were going to get. Okay. And then when the lights turned on Friday nights, it was like, okay, it's time to show everybody the hard work you put in every single day. So each and every day he worked on his mechanics, he worked on his footwork, he did film review, he had daily repetition, especially when he was recovering from his torn ACL. He was absolutely the most disciplined rehab guy I've ever seen before in my life. And what happened his senior year when he came back completely healthy? He passed for 1,500 yards in a running offense. Probably one of the most efficient seasons I've ever been a part of. And he capped his, playing career by easily having the most wins as a starting quarterback in our program history. So he's an example of what it looked like to show up every single day, day in and day out, and that his pressure will always reveal his preparation, and boring daily work creates a very reliable performance. Lastly, step 4, okay, build a daily system that makes your standard automatic. So the key principle is to have daily practice and not just game day events, right? The same thing every day over and over again. Control the mindset, keep it consistent. It's going to show up on game day. You're going to be more confident, right? So Monday, look at your previous week's evidence log. What were the wins last week? Where's some weaknesses? What's one micro goal that I can improve on this specific week? And then tie it and reinforce it with your personal identity, your standards, and of course, that long-term vision. Don't think about, oh my gosh, if I throw an interception at practice, then I'm not going to be able to go to the NFL in 4 years. That's not how it works. You have to be able to convince yourself that you are capable of bouncing back right now onto the next movement. Daily non-negotiables, right? Minimum 3 minutes. You got to wake up with some morning visualization. You got to wake up, close your eyes, get the breath work, get some sunlight in the morning, and see the day ahead. Rehearse the day from where you're at now to the time you lay your head on the pillow. What are some challenges going to be? What are some things that you can improve from last week or the day before that you can use today? A pre-performance routine before every single practice. Do the same thing. By the time game day rolls around, it's just second nature to you. Always have the routine. Evidence log every single night. Make sure that you're recording those wins. Make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to trust what you've done each and every day to build that standard. Recovery practice, right? Examples would be breath work, NSDR, which is non-sleep deep rest, a way that you just relax your whole body and just go into a calm state while breathing and just letting go of everything in your surroundings. Some quiet reflection. Look, take a walk. I mean, the rule of thumb really is to take at least a 10 to 15 minute walk after every meal just to help that metabolism and get things rolling. So standards must operate regardless of your mood or how you feel. And recovery, by the way, this is important. Recovery is a performance skill, right? You train hard, but you've got to recover poorly. I was just talking to an athlete this week who felt like he was going through some symptoms of burnout, and he's doing a lot. He's getting extra work in. He's going to physical therapy. He's playing 4 games over the weekend, and that's a lot. But I told him, you're sometimes less is more, and he has to have at least one day a week where he's not playing baseball and where he's not lifting, where he's just fully recovering, just reading, relaxing, and going for a walk, getting outside, and just digesting everything from the past week and moving forward to the next week. And you'll be shocked at the energy you have from a full recovery. And of course, I told him he needs to recover throughout the day. Find times to just let go of all of the outside noise, the electronics, everything you can think of, and just build some trust in yourself to relax. All right. And then when you do this over time, you're going to see yourself have more energy. You're going to trust yourself more consistently, and then the performance becomes more consistent. So recovery is not a reward. It's an absolute requirement on top of the non-negotiable 8 hours of sleep every night. So again, just to recap the 4 pillars: have a pre-performance routine, build confidence on the evidence that you do, train for chaos, and build a daily system no matter what. Just remember, you are not an inconsistent athlete. You're just an athlete that doesn't have that full system. So train your mind like you train your body every single day. If you enjoyed this video, I love helping out athletes. There's a link in the description to connect. I have a ton of free resources, and I'm revamping my school community. I'll be happy to have all college athletes in there for our Fearless Athlete community. It's a great time. I go live once a week with some coaching calls. I give you daily tools every day that I'm learning in my coaching practice. And of course, if you want to work with me one-on-one, this would be the first opportunity to test the waters and see if it would be worth your while. So check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.